Hello everyone, and welcome to the Bias Report for the week of July 22nd, 2019. I'm your host Paul, here with you as always, to go over the best and worst of the week in American media bias. We've got a bunch of good stories for you guys today. I don't know why I'm surprised. This is a show about the news, and the news just finds a way to keep on producing more news, no matter what. So the week when you tune in and I say that there is no news, I guess that would be the oddity, right? Whatever. Okay, but seriously, I've got a good show for you. I will be right back with the weekly rundown. Be right back. And we're back. All right, time for the weekly rundown. This is the segment where I take a look at different headlines from the left, right, and all other aspects of the political spectrum, and read into them with zero context or fact-checking whatsoever. This week, we're going to start on the left. All right, from MSNBC. Joe on Mueller testimony. What a great day it was for GOP and Putin. Yep, clearly the GOP and Vladimir Putin are in bed together. That's just how unapologetically un-American these heartless conservatives really are. I'm glad MSNBC's here to wake us all up. Okay, up next from Alternet. Ted Cruz explains why Trump could absolutely lose in 2020 and lays out the roadmap for Democrats to win. Well, that's good news. That makes me feel good and warm and safe inside. Thanks for reassuring me that the bad man will go away, Alternet. I appreciate it. Up next from Alternet. Angry GOP lawmaker storms out of hearing after getting shamed by Democratic colleague. That simple, childish GO partisan. This headline is clearly very objective, and I'm sure that Fox News couldn't possibly frame whatever happened here with a different spin. Obviously, the GOP guy was shamed. Okay, up next from Jacobin. Even nice, generous rich people are not your friends. Well played, as always, by Jacobin. Obviously, people who happen to have money are the root of all evil, right? I mean, it's obvious that they're not just, people. They're all out to get us. We need to take all their money and redistribute it to all the lazy people everywhere. That makes sense. Up next from CNN. Trump makes people feel lousy. That could spell his political doom. I'm sure that will spell his doom all right. It's not like making fun of people and making them feel like crap has helped him out thus far, correct? CNN, are you guys even paying attention? This is the dude's game. That's what he does. Okay, that's enough from the left. On to the right side of the aisle. From Breitbart. Leftist nightmare. Fox, Breitbart, Trump beat all establishment media on Mueller Day. Mueller Day, huh? But wait, that's not at all what I heard from CNN and MSNBC. I thought that it was the death of facts. Well, I guess I was wrong. I guess it was a, quote, leftist nightmare. Okay, up next from Fox News. Comedian. Devil worshippers better than Trump supporters. See, these liberal comedians are likening us to devil worshippers. They're completely out of control now. It's not like they're, comedians or anything. Oh, and by the way, has anyone out there ever actually met a devil worshipper? Is that even a real thing? It doesn't seem like it is to me. Up next, from The Blaze. Crickets. Not one House Dem out of 70 contacted was willing to go on Fox News at night after Mueller hearing. Psh, cowards. That's because they're probably afraid of hearing the truth, am I right? And also because they hate freedom and support homeless drug addicts. Frickin' Dems. Up next from PJ Media. Does a guilty conscience explain Mueller's fumbling? You know, I bet they're right. It's a guilty conscience. I'm sure that it has nothing to do with the pressure of testifying before a very worked up and divided Congress while being viewed by millions of people on TV. That's surely not why he was fumbling. Up next from Breitbart. Dems quietly tried to pass massive tax hike. And just when I thought the Dems couldn't sink any lower, they go and pull some crap like this. Nice try, liberals. Good thing Breitbart is watching out for us. All right, that's enough from the left and the right. On to the other category. From UPI. Camera returned to man after theft by eagle. Oh, I get it. So eagles are all high and mighty and always doing the right thing, right? I bet that the headline wouldn't be bent this way if it had been a bear that had returned something. Up next, from NPR. Cool your jets. Science might explain your weird and emotional airplane behavior. Well, that's a relief. I'm sure glad that science will soon prove that it's okay for me to obsessively clip my toenails and eat only leftover fish when I fly. I'll let my seatmates on my next flight know about that. Up next, from Natural News. California's nuclear power plants found to be sitting on top of a massive supervolcano filled with 240 cubic miles of magma. So why exactly is no one else reporting on this? It sounds like it could possibly be a big deal, right? Thank God I still subscribe to the Natural News. Up next, from the Huffington Post. Inventor fails to cross English Channel on jet-powered hoverboard. Yeah, so? Why is this news? Last time I checked, an inventor fails to cross the English Channel on a jet-powered hoverboard every single day. How about a little effort next time, huh, Huffington Post? And finally, from UPI, family of bears raids dog food from North Carolina porch. Okay, I get it. These bears are so bad that they're even getting their families in on their shenanigans now, right? The bear bias continues, people. Wake up. And that does it for the weekly rundown. I'll be back in just a sec with the main story of the day. See you then. Okay, and I'm back. So I go on and on making fun of all these different media companies and what I see as their clear political biases, whichever way they happen to go. After all, that's the reason that I started the show in the first place. The problem really is that the news is a business these days, and their whole business model is playing with your emotions, whether that's getting you scared or angry at the other guys, or excited, or however else you feel when you read the headlines. I personally think that when it comes to big issues that can affect the whole country or even the entire world, that they probably shouldn't be messing with people's emotions that much. So, you may ask, where can I turn in this wacky, polarized country of ours to find objective, non-sensationalized news? Well, nobody's perfect, and after all, we're all biased at some level. If we weren't biased and didn't have all of these opinions, then we wouldn't be very human at all, in my opinion. However, in the course of my research, there are a few places that I've noticed seem to stay somewhat more objective than the other outlets that I usually cover on this show. So for my main story today, I'm going to do a rundown of headlines from a few of these sources, just to see how different they are from the CNNs and Fox Newses and, God forbid, Natural Newses of the world. So I've chosen a few outlets that I personally consider to, actually report the news, and let me interpret it for myself. Here we go, from the Associated Press. Election security divides Congress after Mueller's testimony. Wait, the testimony divided them? So the Dems aren't attacking the president? Or the GOP isn't hiding something insidious? They're just divided, you say. Well, that's a change from what I'm used to, I guess. Up next, so I don't know if it's Reuters or Reuters, I've heard both. Reuters is funner to say, so I'm going to go with that. From Reuters. U.S. Justice Department resumes use of death penalty. Schedules 5 executions. Hold on now. So, Bill Barr isn't to blame for this? Or Trump, for that matter? Just an objective statement of fact for a headline? I don't know. That doesn't get me as riled up as I'm used to. I don't know how this experiment's going so far. Okay, up next, from the AP again. By the numbers. Migration to the U.S.-Mexico border. By the numbers, you say. So I can analyze these facts for myself? I don't know. I think that I'd rather be told how I should feel about this up front. It's much easier that way. Up next, from Yahoo News. Pelosi's position on impeachment unchanged following Mueller testimony. Okay, well, once again, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about this. Is Pelosi a sniveling rat? Or is she a hero to the people? All this is telling me is what has happened. That's no fun. And from the Wall Street Journal. Judge temporarily blocks Trump administration's asylum restrictions. Okay, so this is getting annoying. So the judge did that, but once again, should I be outraged or relieved? This really isn't very easy for me. I give up. Okay, that's enough of those. Talk about bizarro world. None of those stories seem to stir up my emotions at all. They treated me way too much like an adult, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Well, this was a fun experiment and all, but in the end, I think that it's in the best interests of the podcast to go back to the familiar ground. After all, how am I supposed to try and entertain anybody with this kind of material? It's like they're not even trying to help me out here. Don't worry, guys. Next week, we'll be back to the wild west of sensationalism that we're all used to. And that does it for the show today. I'll be back next week with a brand new show for you. Oh, and just so everyone knows, I finally got the podcast approved by Apple Podcasts, or iTunes in other words. So you should be able to find it in most of your podcast players now, in case you've been listening to it on desktop or wherever. As always, if you have any friends or family that you think might like the show, tell them they can find me on Twitter at bias_report, on Facebook at The Bias Report, or at my website, thebiasreport.com. And another reminder, if anybody has any questions or comments or show ideas or anything really, send me an email at thebiasreport@mail.com. That's thebiasreport@mail.com. Okay, we'll see you next week, guys. Bye.